Spider-Man Lotus. What led such a normal fan film to become so controversial? What led to its rise to fame, its fall, and then its inevitable destruction? This story begins far before they even announced the film. Gavin Knopp used to post different Spider-Man seasonal trailers to help depict what he would believe would be an awesome Smallville-style Spider-Man fan series. He did this for 10 whole seasons with promotional videos and trailers, along with exclusive scenes from each season going through his Instagram as well as on his YouTube, going up in many different places and gaining a lot of traction. Gavin Knopp was small at this time, making these small little shorts to try to help promote his channel. However, he made some of the big videos. He made a video talking about the Spider-Man 2 game, and that got about 2.8 million views. However, that video is now unlisted. However, on January 16, 2021, Gavin Knopp's life changed forever. On January 16th, 2021, Gavin Knopp made a decision that would change his life forever. This decision was to announce Spider-Man Lotus. For over a year, he was making in pre-production, writing this incredible script for a fan film that he depicted would be the comic-accurate interpretation of this character. Following the stories of the death of Gwen Stacy and Spider-Man Blue, this Spider-Man tale was said to be the Spider-Man fan film to end all Spider-Man fan films and to tell a truthful, to the comics, Spider-Man story. It had an awesome costume that they put on, awesome costume that they put on display, and this was the costume that drew so many people in. This $500 costume or so made so many people see this fan film and say, wow, that production design is really incredible, and that is how it began to get some traction. They posted an Indiegogo campaign as well as an audition form to see who would be interested in signing up and who would donate money to the film. If you donated money, you could get special perks like a DVD for the thing, your name in the credits, a signed poster, and plenty of other interesting perks. It made a bit of money at first, however, the money would slowly grow into more and more. In its first few months, the film made about a few $1,000s in its campaign run. However, that was soon to grow. Spider-Man Lotus, a very basic fan film, beginning at first, gained so much reception. People all online were talking about this costume for this Spider-Man suit, and how interesting this fan film could be. They spoke about how Gavin seemed to have a grasp on the character that no other fan film could have, and how this could really be one of the best fan films since Spider-Man Lost Cause and other incredible fan films that have changed the community forever. On March 25th, the cast was announced for the film. About 2 months later, they announced a very interesting cast for the film. They casted Warden Wayne as Spider-Man. As Spider-Man, Warden Wayne was said to be one of the best actors that they could find. Having a very good experience with the character of Spider-Man, he said he was devoted to creating an awesome Spider-Man film. They casted Sean Thomas Reed to play Harry Osborn, who was said to play a darker version of Harry that was never seen in the films, to play a version of Harry Osborn that was supposed to be darker and tell the story of his drug addiction instead of telling the bright hobgoblin story that Harry Osborn seems to always follow. Mariah Brooklyn was cast as Mary Jane Watson. Many people were skeptical of this casting at first, however, in many trailers and other things, she proved to be a very successful casting for Mary Jane Watson. Tuyin Powell was cast as Gwen Stacy, and this was another casting people were skeptical of. However, soon enough, people were on board with this casting and were very excited to see how this could go. With these castings, people were a little surprised and a little scared at first, but soon enough got very much on board with this project as time went on. Maxwell Fox, Jack Wooden, John Salandria, Justin Hargrove, Mariah Fox, and Paul Logan, and plenty of others were all cast in this film to be part of the team and creating one of the best Spider-Man fan films that they said would ever be created. This cast was very well received, and even though it took some time to gain traction, eventually this was another huge reception for this different film. People were very excited to see where this would go, getting some traction, but not as much as they would get in just a few months. How they knew that their life could change so much in such a small amount of time. How would they have known? It's simple, they couldn't have. In the following months, Spider-Man Lotus would produce a lot of different trailers and promotional videos, including a teaser trailer for the film. This teaser trailer was exceptionally received, and it gained a lot of traction online. Thousands upon thousands saw this trailer, started talking about this thing everywhere they could. This was officially what got Spider-Man Lotus up there to be one of the best fan films. This is when it really started to gain traction. And this was on July 16th, and that is when they realized that this could really be something. This trailer was spread wide and far. Plenty of people saw it, people reacted to it, people gave their thoughts. Most of them were extremely positive. Throughout this time, Gavin also made videos talking about the film, or different things on Instagram. Some of these included him talking about how he was going to make this more of a drama, less about Spider-Man and more about the character of Peter Parker overcoming this darkness. However, he also said how much he loved this filming, and how much he felt Spider-Man was a heart of this film. All of the things that he said made people so excited to finally see a good balance between Peter Parker and Spider-Man, as well as seeing, as he said, a film true to the Spider-Man comics. Different cast photos, videos, music videos, trailers, TV spots were posted through these coming months, trying to get people excited for the film, but nothing would count to what was to come. On October 28th, the full trailer for Spider-Man Lotus dropped. Quickly, it got over 1 million views, and that view count was very quickly growing. This was huge for the film. This fan film was reacted to by so many large YouTubers, including The Real Rejects. These YouTubers all praised the film and how good it looked, and how awesome this film really had the potential to be. How good this trailer looked in its production design, and how devoted the actors looked and felt. How every actor felt like they were putting their all and were incredible at what they were doing. This is when everything changed for Spider-Man Lotus. This is when it became a fan film to the fan film. Forums were posting about them on Reddit, Discord servers. Everyone was talking about this fan film. Even news outlets were covering this film. Everyone knew about Spider-Man Lotus if you were a Spider-Man fan. It was blowing up, going into different people's recommended section on YouTube, and it was becoming something that everyone was seeing. It was becoming the next big fan film in the community. Everyone was seeing about it. Everyone was talking about it. This became the biggest topic of discussion in the fan film community for many months, because this was a huge step in the fan film community. This was the fan film that could prove that fan films could do anything, that these films can be so great, and that these could be the future of cinema, that Gavin Knopp can lead the way to create the next best films. And that is not all the reception it got. A few weeks later, Andrew Garfield was confronted on a plane, and he found out about this film too. Gavin Knopp's parents work on planes, and one day Andrew Garfield went to fly on a plane, and his parents ran into him. Gavin's dad told Andrew Garfield about the film, and Andrew wished Gavin Knopp the best of luck and said the films looked incredible. This was when Gavin realized that this could be something incredible. After this, it was a huge deal. This film gained even more traction with a stamp of approval from Andrew Garfield, one of the 3 live-action Spider-Men. This became a huge talking point for the film. Everyone saying, Andrew Garfield thought this film could have potential. We must think the same too. Sometime later, John Watts messaged Gavin Knopp, congratulating him on how good the trailer looked. Again, Gavin posted a screenshot of it and said he was so honored to have the creator of the Spider-Man Home trilogy commenting on his work, how awesome he felt about this thing, and how he was so excited to share it to the rest of the world. With the support of John Watts, a Spider-Man director, and Andrew Garfield, a Spider-Man actor, this was really something that was growing into something so much greater than just a fan film. In this time, it started to gain so much money. It gained money and got so many donations, people trying to make this one of the best fan films of all time, and thousands upon thousands of people donated. So many people donated that there were 15 minutes of credits devoted to celebrating these people, as well as $100,000 in the pockets of Gavin J. Knopp and his crew to create this film. $100,000 is the most known amount for a fan film ever created. Another reason people were so excited about this thing. The $100,000 this film got proved how much people thought this film could succeed. About how much people thought that this film could be the next great film. This put Warden Wayne and Gavin Knopp in the spotlight. These teens now going on interviews on YouTube, all talking about this film and promoting it, how they thought this could be one of the best next films, doing Q&As everywhere and posting videos all over the place to try to promote this thing. These two were really making this film known and shown. The official trailer did so much for Spider-Man Lotus. By February 28th, 2021, the film only had $25,000 in profits for this to make it. However, months later, it got over $100,000 to support this film. This is one example of how this trailer blew this film up to be one of the best of the best. And this was just the start of how things could change for Warden Wayne and Gavin Knopp. They began posting on social media and going through different interviews to try to promote this thing, and everyone was talking about it. However, for months, the film goes dark. For some reason, they stopped posting about it. However, very few posts were coming out about different ways editing was getting done. In early June, they did a Q&A, and this was the first bit of light we saw for this fan film. A lot of people tuned into this Q&A to ask questions to these two creators. They mentioned how they were going to do how someone asked a question about the sequel, and they said that will most likely not occur. Also, plenty of other questions were asked that helped people shed light on the film, like when they think this film will release, how long they think this film would be, and the quality that they think this can come out as, along with so many other questions to help the audience learn about the cast of the film better. However, nothing nothing could ready the cast for what was to come next. On June 20th, 2022, a controversy sparked. People began to leak messages from Warden Wayne of him saying extremely racist content. Different messages were posted about him, and a few hours later he made a response. 3 pages worth of him talking about how these were mistakes he made and he takes accountability for them, and how he apologizes to everyone for this. The film began to gain a little bit of backlash. Gavin Knopp then writes his own response to this, how he defends Warden as well as realizes and recognizes his wrongdoings. People find Gavin's response a little sketchy though, as if he is hiding something and he shouldn't have been backing this actor so easily. Soon they found out why. Then Gavin learns. Then other things come out about Gavin Knopf. Racist messages from him begin to come out. These begin to come out from a boy who used to be Gavin's friend, an apprentice of sorts. Someone who said that Gavin and him would always talk about working on big films together. However, once Gavin got into the spotlight, he dropped him and got rid of him and was able to move on. However, the child wasn't. He was forced to he wanted to get revenge, and he took it. And at its peak, when everyone was so excited for this film, the film began to fall. This is the fall of Spider-Man Lotus. Gavin Knopf and Warren Wayne go under heavy fire. Plenty of actors from the film as well as crew make responses to this thing. However, most people do not know how to respond. Gavin explains that he leaves social media for a while. He says that a lot of the messages are fake and he will commit to trying to show which are true and which are not. And he says that he is sorry for all this stuff coming out, however he takes a break from social media. He even admits that he could not prepare himself for what was to come. Plenty of people feel backstabbed, feel betrayed by this film. Backers begin to ask for their money back, however Gavin cannot comply. People beg for them to get their money back. Ask over and over again to try to get the money that they paid. However, Gavin will not. They cannot give back the money that they have already spent. So people begin to get mad at the film to see how terrible they feel like this film is. And this goes on for months. Some actors begin to unassociate from the project. They begin to not post about it. They begin to remove themselves entirely from it. Multiple crew members, including the person who was making the final trailer for the film, decide not to work for the film anymore and quit the project. The entire VFX team for the film leaves. This puts Gavin in a situation where he is forced to do a lot of the work himself, where he has to find new people to help him. More information begins to come out, and a lot of it isn't true. Gavin begins to debunk a lot of these rumors, along with the VFX team. Gavin, in September, makes an Addressing Everything video, where he talks about how everything went wrong for it. He explains some of the things that are true and some of the things that are not. He apologizes for the comments he made and explains that he used to be young and associated with the wrong people, and that this is the behavior he thought was okay. This receives a lot more backlash as part of the Addressing Everything video. People believe that it is okay on one hand, that he is able to respond and should be able to move forward. However, others believe he should be punished for these actions. He explained that him not paying storyboard artists felt like he didn't have to, because he explained it was something non-profit. However, he understands now that he should have. He also explains how other people were paid minimum wage or less than, and how he felt that he should have been able to pay more if he could. He also explains how a certain editor came out and said that they were being treated unfairly on it. Gavin debunks this huge rumor. An editor on the film, or was supposed to be an editor on the film, came out after the controversy began and began to spread rumors about the film. This is a huge reason the film gained backlash. However, Gavin debunked these rumors, and the film began to gain a little less traction. And for months, the film was just known as the racist Spider-Man film. Most people didn't think this film should be released, and it became polarizing in the community a little. Some people believe that this film should still come out, that so many good people worked on this film, and it shouldn't be defined by a few bad people. However, other people believe that this film should be canceled and that it's not worth it. However, Gavin explains that $100,000 cannot go to waste, and this film will still release. Then the final trailer comes out. The film receives huge backlash for this final thing. People begin to become divided on if they should or should not watch this fan film. The fact of it still releasing and it's still looking incredible makes people torn. Should they watch this very good looking fan film, or should they ignore it and not pay attention to it? Months go by when nothing is said about the film again. People begin to take a break to not know what to believe. Will this film really release? Finally, after months and months, they come out with a release date, August 10th. This begins to make people excited again. Plenty of people return to Gavin Knopf's channel to see the countless trailers that they posted in the coming month, celebrating the character of Spider-Man in this film. Even though people were not happy with this film, most people believe that this film would be good, and plenty of people were waiting and waiting for August 10th to arrive. Days before August 10th, they had a test screening in a theater in Los Angeles, where they had a huge test screening just like a real film premiere. Plenty of people showed up in the Los Angeles area, and they had the costumes from the film displayed on it, as well as showed the whole film. It was very well received, and people were even more excited to see the film. On August 10th, Gavin made a video explaining how the film could not happen, and it would happen one day later on August 11th. On August 10th, Gavin released a video explaining how on August 11th the film would actually release, how there was a small issue with it, and the film had to be delayed one more day. The film was first stated to come out in late 2022, then early 2023, then late 2023. Finally, in the summer of 2023, after so many delays, the film releases. And immediately, the film has terrible reception. On August 11th, 2023, Spider-Man Lotus comes out. Thousands upon thousands of YouTubers review this film. YouTubers who would review huge films, YouTubers with millions upon millions of subscribers, talk about this project. This release brings Spider-Man Lotus back into the light. However, no one likes this project. For 2 hours, people call this thing too long, too divided, too dark in its lighting. They ask where their $100,000 went for such a terrible looking project, for being so boring and so drawn out. A film not being actually about Spider-Man, but being about sadness and depression. Gavin tries to defend this by saying he never said that this film wouldn't be about that this was more of a film about Peter Parker than about Spider-Man, but people are not convinced. YouTubers who would never talk about things like this review the film. People poke fun at the idea of the racist Spider-Man, but they continue to make these reviews. Anywhere you looked on YouTube, you could go from one Lotus review to another and you never get to the end of the line. That is how many people were talking about this film. And no one, or virtually no one at least, said the film was good. So many people tried to defend this film, so many people tried to say it was good, but no one could deny the fact that this film was not great. Huge YouTubers were talking about this thing, people bigger than they should have, people who should not have been reviewing this were. Anywhere you looked on YouTube, you would find someone reviewing this film. People you wouldn't expect to be reviewing this film were reviewing it. That is how big of an impact this film had on people. Plenty of people try to make fun of the film. A few days later, Gavin issues a statement, trying to stand tall of it, trying to explain how he feels proud of this film, and how even though it did not have great reception and how much it would sting to see these comments, he's still happy with it. He supports different people making cuts of the film that he feels are better, and people making different languages of the film. He feels very connected to this project and can't wait to continue making other things, and will take in all of the criticism that he received, as he stated, no matter how much it stings to see. But all the work is done. This is the destruction of Spider-Man Lotus. A film that rose to fame, was then fallen by controversy, and then was destroyed by its terribleness. People throughout the internet were poking fun at this film. Where did these $100 go on this project? How would this affect fan films for years to come? Is this proof that fan films are not good anymore? Proof that fan films have become too political? That all this Spider-Man Lotus will be known as is the racist Spider-Man film? The film will receive so much backlash for the coming month, as YouTubers review it for days and days and days. Everyone is talking about Spider-Man Lotus. However, it begins to slow down and fade into darkness. And slowly Spider-Man Lotus is forgotten, and if spoke about, only the racist Spider-Man film, or the Spider-Man fan film that failed. And no Spider-Man fan film has ever been on such a journey as this one has. So what has Spider-Man Lotus done to fan films today? Has Spider-Man Lotus ruined the fan films out there? What did Spider-Man Lotus do to this community? Spider-Man Lotus showed fan films the potential of a good-looking fan film, and then took it away. It showed the potential of a fan film rising to power and then falling and being destroyed. Spider-Man Lotus did help destroy the fan film. This helped go back a few minutes. Spider-Man Lotus helped ruin fan films entirely. It made people more demoralized to create these things. It made people go away from the community. A fan film that was said to be the best of the best became the worst of the worst. After the film's release, it was revealed that John Slandria, the Green Goblin, was actually a groomer. That he was grooming people on the set of the film. This gave him the name the Green Groomer, further digging Spider-Man Lotus into its grave. People began to say racist Spider-Man and the Green Groomer. And this became a new joke for Spider-Man Lotus. No one could take any more controversy with this project. How could anyone? More screenshots began to come out, even more after the film, about how Gavin said at least, that this could be one of the best films of all time, and he only made this to prove that Spider-Man Lotus was better than John Watts' Spider-Man films. Spider-Man Lotus then was known as the film made from spite. Everyone was saying that this fan film was either made from spite, or was racist, or had a groomer in it. No matter where everyone looked or what angle they took on this thing, everyone was saying how bad this fan film was. How could everyone not? There was too many cards stacked against it. No fan film has been on the journey that Spider-Man Lotus has, rising to so much power and then falling from grace. After this, Spider-Man Lotus's director, Gavin Knopp, released some set photos from his new film Attempted Murder. No sequel is in sight for Spider-Man Lotus. Attempted Murder seems to be a murder film, an original project by Gavin. There are some people supporting this project, however, many have tried to distance themselves from Gavin's wrath. Many people have tried to distance themselves from Gavin and his channel. They do not want to see what he is producing anymore after what happened with Lotus. Lotus is very slowly fell into the shadows and out of the spotlight. Spider-Man Lotus has helped ruin fan films today. It showed fan films how powerful and how famous they could become, and in how much they could fail. They showed how money can affect a fan film, and how bad other fan films could be. Spider-Man Lotus affected fan films so drastically. It made other small budget fan films with a few $100s for a budget, fan films that may not have looked so good, look even worse with how well some of these trailers looked for Spider-Man Lotus. This brought plenty of people to the fan film community for Spider-Man Lotus, but for the wrong reasons. People weren't watching the small creators who made awesome Spider-Man fan films. or even any fan film in general, but the more wealthy fan films, the fan films with thousands of dollars to their names. The idea of fan films being small budgeted and maybe not looking so good but about the heart of the character were diminished. They were all about how much money could who use to make a film. And that is what Spider-Man fan films and all fan films became because of Spider-Man Lotus. Spider-Man Lotus was the first fan film to have so much money to its name. And since, plenty of fan films have followed. Superman Solar and other fan films have tried to recreate the magic that Spider-Man Lotus had on its rise to fame. Thousands of dollars to these fan films' names. However, they all came crashing down. Money is what describes fan films now. People watch fan films because of how wealthy they have on their set production, not if the heart of the character is there. People don't care about the story of the characters, just about how well it looks, if it could do better than Spider-Man Lotus. Fan films were ruined. It became a bad example for other fan films, about how much money someone could have and how ruined they could use it. How they didn't know how to manage how to create such a film. People began to leave the fan film community because of Spider-Man Lotus, because of how much it ruined it and put other fan films down. People came to the community because of how much they hated the film and tried to look for other fan films, but only looked for the rich and wealthy. The fan films with lower budgeted that were trying to make a name for themselves slowly began to lose views by the day. Fan films nowadays have become even less known than before, because most low-budget fan films have become forgotten. High-budget fan films, sure, they will get views. But the low ones, the ones with the more heart, the one with the more soul, those are almost completely forgotten. Those don't get views anymore, those don't get attention. All they get is laughter. Spider-Man Lotus has helped end the community of fan films. It made people feel that they didn't know what they were doing, that the community was a joke. Spider-Man Lotus helped diminish the fan film community to an even worse state than it was in before. So how could a fan film go from such a high point to such a low? From rising to fame, getting support from so many famous celebrities, to falling from controversy and being destroyed by it and then being destroyed from how bad it looked. No fan film has been on the journey Spider-Man Lotus has. No fan film has been through the whole process that it has. No fan film has gained the traction, nor the hate that this fan film has. Other fan films have tried to stand up there, but none have. Spider-Man Lotus can be called many names, but one thing is certain. Spider-Man Lotus is notorious for what it is. And Spider-Man Lotus rise, fell, and then was destroyed.